29th of June and I've just stripped the garlic out of this bed a couple of days ago. So this was the garlic bed. These are the sort of sizes I've got. I've got quite a few bulbs, sort of that big, really nice size bulbs, but I would say on average the majority are sort of that size. I have no idea what variety garlic these are because over the last 3 years I bought them from various places. Some of them were supermarket garlic, and I just plant the biggest cloves every year in the bed, so they're a mixture of hard neck and soft neck, but we get garlic. It was round about February or March when I put these asparagus peas in. And the garlic was already up by then. It was about yay big, and I planted all these asparagus peas, and we've had a couple of harvests off them. If you've never tried asparagus peas, I'll just show you what they look like. So that is them, strange things. You don't actually pod them, so you just pick them and cook them like that. They don't really taste of peas, but they have got a mild taste of asparagus. They're quite nice, providing you pick them when they're half that length. We had a massive pick of these and we ate them for our tea, and they were lovely. And then I let them get bigger to this sort of stage and had another pick, took them on, cooked them for the tea. And these little wing parts here, which grow out from the corners, they just get so tougher, so they don't actually cook. So you sort of, you know, you're eating them things, just end up really fibrous after they've been cooked, these wings. So if you're going to grow these guys, I would recommend that you eat them before they get too big. Vast majority now are too big. I'll just pull one up and show you. So they're like that. They're absolutely hanging in these peas, but that's the sort of size you want to pick them at when they're that big, and they are quite nice. So today these are all coming out, and this bed is going to be the first trial bed of the green manure this year. What I am going to do, because it's a bit of a suck it and see as to what actually happens with this green manure this year, so I'm just going to trial this first bed for a few weeks. By then the potatoes should be coming out, and then I'll have a better idea of how I'm going to sow this green manure in those beds and what I'm going to sow. What I intend to do is strike some rows about 10 inches apart, and then I'm going to sow a different seed in every single row. And I'll show you that list in a second. But first, let me get this bed cleared. There's a nice lot of green manure here, which is kind of all it was grown for, really. I have never grown asparagus peas before. If you want something that's low growing and it doesn't interfere with other plants, plant some, because they're really nice, providing you pick them when they're small like that. Right, let's get on and get this done. Okay, removal is going to be pretty simple, really. Just going to cut them off at the base there, leave the roots in. They're not really loaded with nitrogen nodules like normal peas are, but still the roots themselves will rot down in the ground and provide the nutrients for the next crop and the soil life. Right, so let's get them all out. They have quite a lot of peas on them, these things, you can see them all. That's the bed cleared of the asparagus peas. I've literally just raked it, just sort of levelled it out with a stick, and I've cut these trenches. And all of these seeds here, I think, I've never grown them before. So I'm going to start off with these black-eyed beans, or black-eyed peas as they're also called. These were from the supermarket, quite cheap. And I'm just going to sow. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 rows there, which I'm going to sow stuff in. So I'm going to start off with these black-eyed peas. I've no idea of the growth habit. I've not grown any of these before. But I'm going to use this really as a test bed. So I'm just going to see how these things grow. because when the potatoes come out in about 3 or 4 weeks, I'll know better then how these things grow, what the habit is, how fast they grow, etc, etc. Because it's going to be end of July by the time a lot of the potatoes come out, so it'll just give me a better idea of how this sort of stuff grows. What I've got here is some quinoa, and as I say, I'm just looking to see the habit of this stuff, how it grows. So I'm putting the quinoa in that row. Not being very precise here on how I sow it. And this green manure, or these crops should I say, these are just going to stay in this bed now until winter. There's some buckwheat. That was supermarket buckwheat as well. We'll have that one in there. God, I think I'm sowing this a little bit thick really, but it's a green manure bed, so you want to get as much in as you can. You just get as much, absolutely as much growing, just fill the soil with vegetation. Fenugreek. That smells really spicy, like curry. Let's try that one in here. I'm going to have to check my footage. I'm going to have to check my footage when when I rake all this over, because I won't know what's what. But I am going to mark. I am going to mark the beds. I am going to mark the strips, so I know what's what. What we got left? 2 packets there, and there's 2 drills. Wow, look at that. So I've got some Juar, Juwar. Juwar. When I was looking at these seeds, I'm sure that this Juwar is very, very similar to one of these. I can't remember which one it is. It's maybe the buckwheat. I can't actually remember. That's that one, the Juwar. And finally we have some amaranth. Maybe the Juwar was similar to the amaranth in growth. I'm talking about growth and habit of growth. So, amaranth. These are tiny, these amaranth seeds. And there we go. Actually, I don't need to mark them at all, because I'll see when they come up, what comes up, and I'll just refer back to the footage. I will make a little plan on paper to see what I sowed where. Where's the back of the rake? Just fill this in. I think the only thing at risk here is going to be those black-eyed beans or peas. So if the mice smell them, they'll be digging them up. So I am just going to throw a net, definitely just throw a net over them. Try and stop the mice getting in. No sowing is complete without the obligatory watering. Very dry, the surface, very dry. I'll keep watering this for the next 2 or 3 days just to get the ground nice and moist. I've actually just noticed I haven't covered this drill in here, fill this drill in. I'll give this 5 minutes to just percolate in, and then I'm going to water it again, because if you see here, just under there, it's dry. So just look, see there, it's just dry. So I'll just let that soak in a minute, and I'll give it another 2 cans of water. And that done, guys, I'm just going to harvest some of these cauliflowers. These are all bound for the freezer. They look really nice. Really nice. See that one, the leaf I covered that one with, had blown off. You can see how white it is there. The sun just yellows them off a little bit. This one's going to go soon. It's going to blow its top, so that may as well come out as well. Two. There's a big head of broccoli there that's just starting to break up as well, so that one can come out. Another little cauli here, possibly not going to get much bigger before that one blows. Another one here, just off camera. That's a nice one. That had a leaf covering it, that one. Beautiful. Beautiful and clean. That muck's off my hands. What else have we got? There's another smaller one there. That possibly could have grown a little bit more. But I may as well just get all these caulis out, and then they can just all be processed and put into the freezer tonight. Then we've got one here, last one. It's actually still growing, so I'm just a bit loath to cut that one down. I'll let it have a few more days to just grow on a little bit more, but I will cover that one with a leaf to keep the sun off it, stop it going yellow. Cabbages here, which I don't really want. I've got two cabbages at home which I don't really want. I don't eat a great lot of cabbage, but there's all these fellas. They're going to get cut. They're going to get home processed. But yeah, got all these leaves now to just clear up, get these roots out. Well, get the bases out, leave the roots in, just twist them out, leave some of the roots in, and then get all this stuff on the compost heap along with all that, along with all those asparagus peas. So I'll take you over and show you the compost bin. Right, so there's all the asparagus pea stems and bits and bobs. There's the leaves from the caulis. I'm going to put a bucket of this leafy fine wood chip in as well, and I'm going to put a little bit of rye straw in. Yeah, I've been struggling filling the bin. As fast as I'm putting things in, it's just sinking and disappearing. I've been up here 3 or 4 times. But it's got to get to a point where I literally stop filling and let it finish. The back of the heap was cooler, so I piled a load of old blown lettuce in there the other day, and it's caused the back to sink, so the back has finally started to heat up. Whoa, 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 that is hot. Oh, look at that. This was some rye I put in the other day, some rye stalks, along with some tomato leaves that I've been pruning back and things like that. Some of the plants off the allotment, the looping heads. God, that is so hot. So, because I put a lot of greens in, I'm just going to throw a little bit of chip on that. I don't want it getting too slumpy and wet, and just throwing that little bit of chip on makes a big difference. It uses a lot of moisture fungus as it's breaking down wood. This is what I like, this is what I love making compost out of. Truly organic greens, nothing been sprayed on them. Grown on this ground with all the microbes, the indigenous microbes on it, returning back to the soil in a few months' time. See, there's no sign of club roots on these caulis, which is really, really cool. Because club root, there's many ways it can get onto your ground. it's in the air, so the spores can travel through the air and get on your soil and attack your plants. It can be in water, it can be soil borne, so even if you've not had clubroot, guys, there's nothing to say you won't have it the year after. My ground just seems to be staving it off at the minute, and I think it's got an awful lot to do with the health and vitality of your plants. If your soil is good, if the nutrition is in the soil for your plants, the plenty of microbe activity in your soil, then they're going to combat and help the plant fight off clubroot. I'm convinced of it. Finally, just get a little bit of that rye straw in. This is really good. Look at these rye stems, hollow. They trap air really good. And again, completely organic, grown on site. So there we are. And I've put this fine mesh net over for two reasons. Number one, it could possibly stop the mice rooting through the soil here and digging out these cowpeas. And number two, it will stop the blackbirds, pheasants and all the other wildlife from scratching holes in this, looking for worms or whatever the hell they're looking for. And number three, so there's three reasons. Number three is this fine mesh net, when you lay it on top of the soil, it keeps the moisture under, so it stops a certain amount of evaporation. So it keeps the soil moister for better germination. And I'm going to come back in a few days, so it'll be probably not the next video but the one after that, and we'll have a look and see how these things are germinating. I only expect it will be literally 3-4 days and some of this stuff should be starting to come up. Alright guys, catch you on the next one. Bye for now.